Over the past 3 days, our participants have faced trial after trial, engaging in intense brainstorming, debate, and discussion. We gather here today to celebrate that journey, one filled with perseverance, intellect, and relentless pursuit of knowledge. To begin our evening with a bit of flair, we have performances by ISA Pune's very own cultural clubs. First, I invite Sharanya to grace the stage with a tarana, which is a traditionally fast paced Hindustani composition adapted into the Kathak dance style. What a spectacular performance. Let's give Sharanya another big round of applause. Next, we have Kuhak, Prashant, Vedant, and Abhishek, the band Amras, regulars from our music club Aroha, here to treat us to a Carnatic and Western instrumental fusion medley. What a spectacular performance. Let's hear it for Amras again. Moving on to Mimamsa itself. An event of this scale is never possible without strong leadership and unwavering guidance. In our faculty coordinator, Professor M.S. Madhusudan, we have found both. I now invite him on stage to reflect on Mimamsa 2025.
So once again, it's my great privilege and honor to be here. And as part of, my commitment as the faculty mentor for Mimamsa, I get to wear this T-shirt and give this speech. It's been 17 years of Mimamsa, 17 contiguous years, unbroken by COVID. And if this were a human being, this is the age probably at which, uh, the human would have driven uncle's car into the ditch, and was up to some mischief. But Mimamsa, in 17 years, has grown in size, in stature, and in maturity. And I can bore you with several examples of these, but suffice to say that I think this Mimamsa had the largest number of teams participating, and this has been almost a monotonic increase from the time Mimamsa was set up. And all the credit for this is due to the students of ISER Pune who run Mimamsa and who've been doing so successfully for the last 17 years. So this year, they are led by Sahil, Urvija, Madhav, and Rupsha, who are sitting there, and I don't see Urvija and Rupsha, who I think have now inculcated this routine of making sure that things will proceed with as little disruption as possible. And I should also comment here that the Mimamsa organization is such that these 4 people I named, who are the general coordinators, are helped by a council of elders. And the elders are the previous coordinators. And so between the council and the coordinators, effort is taken to see that as little disruption to a well-planned schedule happens. And there is, of course, the question-making teams, who I am the most envious of, because I think they get to have a lot of fun. They sit for many weeks, many months, coming up with questions. I'm envious, of course, because they have the best puns for the questions. And I think in doing so, they get to learn a lot. And I think the pedagogy that we offer in the classrooms pales in comparison to how much you will learn on your own when you are setting these questions, because you need to make sure that all the angles are covered, right? And increasingly in this world where artificial intelligence and such things are coming in, and where we need different modes of teaching than what I was subject to a few decades ago. Things like Mimamsa, I think, will help foster better learning outcomes. So I should also place and record my gratitude to ISER Pune, who have supported this. Unfortunately, because of some circumstances, our director, Professor Sunil Bhagwat, couldn't join us, but he did send his best wishes, and I'd like to say that he has been extremely supportive of this effort. Speaking of people supportive of the effort, Praj Industries, because you would have seen from the label, this is the Praj ISER Mimamsa. Praj Industries have been supporting us, and I mentioned this during the introduction too. They are not just sponsors, but they have been guiding us in various different aspects, led by their chairperson, Dr. Pramod Chaudhary, who again unfortunately could not be here, but who are represented here by Mr. Ashish Gaikwad, my friend Anand Goshalkar, Suyash, and Mr. Kulkarni. Abundance thanks to you, because if the monotonic increase in participation and the prestige associated with Mimamsa has one single major component to thank, that is the support that we get from Praj. So we are very indebted to that. Also, I'd like to welcome my colleague, Professor Sunil Mukhi, who's the guest of honor today, who has, seen various of these events in the past. And the thing that I want to leave you with is this. Somebody, well, I won't tell you who, caught me and said, hey, Madhu, are you going to say the same thing that you've been saying for all these years? So here is something new. One of the council members earlier looked at me in surprise and said, you're still the coordinator. And because I had said, I'm done with Mimamsa a few years ago. And there is a reason I've, stayed back. So Steve Jobs, in a commencement address, I think at Stanford, made this phrase popular. He himself had got it from elsewhere, and it's slightly not in the context of what it is here. He had said, stay hungry, stay foolish. So if you look at some of my colleagues, more so than others, more of some than others, stay hungry really is not in the question. Stay foolish certainly is. And I think that for me, I try and attend as many of the competition events as possible. It inspires me. It inspires me to stay foolish. I don't get any of the answers, by the way, and it's incredible that our students, who I'm incredibly proud of, put together this program. It takes a lot of coordination. It takes a lot of effort, and they're doing this for the love of it, because there is no reward, there is no certificate, there is no medal that they get other than the appreciation that we will show them in great abundance. So that's it. I will leave you with that, and I once again want to ask you to put your hands together and congratulate the team for having successfully pulled off this Mimamsa. And of course, last but not the least, the teams that participated, I think have done tremendously well, because, they are filtered through a process where 1,800 other teams participated. These were the top 4 teams. And there are also amongst us the top girls team in the competition. And congratulations to all of you. Very well done. Unfortunately, in order to have this Mimamsa, it is branded as a competition. Science really is not. And you would have seen in the brief thought round, it is a collaborative effort where collectively we build on the intelligence that we have gathered. And I hope that, we can sustain this for many, many years to come. And if the ICER students with this level of enthusiasm, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your constant support and inspiration. Mimamsa has grown tremendously over the years, and none of this would have been possible without the support of our sponsor, Praj Industries. Since 2020, Praj has been an integral part of our journey, helping us achieve the scale and impact we see today. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Pramod Chaudhary, Chairman of Praj Industries, and the entire team at Praj for their invaluable support. We now have a short presentation from Praj Industries.
It's the energy source for many, but the ultimate symbol of sustainability for everyone. And so, the sun is our ultimate inspiration. We are Praj Industries, the flag bearers of bioeconomy, a true sunrise industry, and we are committed to sustainable climate actions. Our solutions help lower CO2 emissions by millions of metric tons, recycle millions of liters of water every year, facilitate development of vaccines, and create job opportunities for farming communities globally. In a journey nearing 4 decades, we have been contributing to climate actions, energy transition, and rural empowerment.
All our endeavors are powered by the vision of making the world a cleaner, greener, and better place through technology-embedded solutions.
Since its inception in 1983, Praj's exciting journey is steered by the visionary leadership of Dr. Pramod Chaudhary, a first-generation techno-entrepreneur, widely acclaimed as the ethanol man. He has led the way on the path of exploring bioeconomy, akin to how the sun lights up unexplored paths for the world. His idea of innovative industrial biotech solutions has gained tremendous recognition in the global bioeconomy.
At every step, Dr. Pramod Chaudhary's vision has been implemented on the foundation of a world-class infrastructure. It epitomizes Praj's motto of innovation, integration, and delivery.
Bioenergy is at the core of our growth story, and it continues to be our flagship business, helping conquer new frontiers globally. Today, Praj is the leading player in biofuels industry, providing technology solutions to ethanol plants that contribute over 10% share in global bioethanol production capacity. We are commissioning a first of its kind and Asia's first 2G ethanol biorefinery, built on proprietary technology for processing cellulosic feedstock. Praj's biomobility platform of technologies is aimed at sustainable decarbonization of transportation sector. While surface transportation applications are well established, we are in the process of commercializing technologies for production of sustainable aviation fuels and marine biofuels.
Drawing inspiration from the sun's creation of rainbow that celebrates diversity, we have diversified our offerings for the process industry. One such offering is critical process equipment and modules that provides engineering and manufacturing solutions to global leaders in energy transition. To help conserve depleting groundwater tables, our zero liquid discharge systems help process industrial effluent and minimize water footprint. Another offering is the customized plants and equipment for beverage industry. Praj offers water systems, fermentation solutions, and process systems to health and wellness industry.
All these operations are powered by its unique philosophy of R&D to D&D. Praj Matrix, the state-of-the-art R&D facility, helps retain the edge and stay ahead of the curve by commercializing innovative solutions. Our BioPrism portfolio comprises of technologies for production of renewable chemicals and materials from bio-based feedstocks that are sustainable alternatives to products made from fossil resources. Multidisciplinary engineering is the cornerstone of Praj's integrated offerings. Our expertise is supported by the state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in compliance with global quality and HSE standards. Leveraging a pool of well-qualified and experienced project managers, we deliver projects conforming to best industry practices. People are most prized assets of Praj and bedrock of its success worldwide.
All of this has led to Praj becoming a trusted partner to customers. With more than 1,000 plus references in 100 plus countries across 5 continents, the sun never sets on Praj. Along the way, this pioneering work has brought some truly prestigious recognitions. The George Washington Carver Award and William C. Holmberg Award bestowed upon Dr. Pramod Chaudhary hold a special place. Inspired by sun's ability to light up the darkest corners of the world, we at Praj are committed to help uplift underprivileged sections. Praj Foundation has successfully steered several programs in the area of environmental conservation, skill development through education, and preventive healthcare for women. The pursuit towards shaping a better society continues to drive our social endeavors.
as a strong proponent of ESG in bioeconomy, powered by its rich legacy and future-ready solutions. Praj is inspired by the sun to shape a better future for this world.
At the Praj Matrix R&D Center. Dr. Ghosalkar holds a PhD in biochemical engineering from IIT Delhi and is a member of the DBT Sectorial Expert Committee on Biomanufacturing. I invite him onto the stage to deliver the keynote address for Mimamsa 2025.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for having me over here today. I think it's an absolute pleasure and honor for me to be able to talk to you today from this forum and to join you in 17th edition of Mimamsa for its valedictory ceremony. I've had the privilege to attend last couple of editions of Mimamsa sitting on that side, and it's very heartening to see the growth and the expansion of the competition over the years. What I understand from the coordinators is in the last 5, 6 years itself, the participation has increased threefold from 600 to 1800 teams, 6,500 participants. And the most important of all, that you have managed to reach to tier 2, tier 3 cities of India and kind of increase this science outreach almost to every corner of India. And I'm assuming we are covering all the diverse regions of India. As one of the coordinators told me that some of the teams from Southeast, Northeast as well have participated in this year's edition of Mimamsa. Well, and as Dr. Madhu said, Professor Madhu said that in the times of ChatGPT, we cannot, the whole importance of Mimamsa cannot be undermined because it again reinforces the importance of domain expertise, core concepts, and critical reasoning among the students. When you have everything at the click of your button, it's very important to reinforce that critical reasoning and critical thinking aspects in students. On behalf of Praj, again, I thank you again for all this coordination. And in fact, I've had the privilege of being a part of several of industrial academic programs at Praj with IIT Bombay, ICT Mumbai, Pune University, and in fact, even at ISER. And I think Mimamsa holds a very special place in the heart of our chairman. At time to time, he has taken personal interest in increasing measures and initiatives to improve female participation, getting students to visit our R&D center so that they get more interested in building their careers in science and technology development domains. And what I hear from this year is that the female participation has almost reached 45%. And that's something is what would be very, very, very good news and very satisfaction for all of us that the whole purpose of Mimamsa has served in that dimension as well. So 33% of all girls team, I've been told that one of the team, top girls team is also sitting over here. So I think just for this aspect itself, let's give a big round of applause to Dr. Pramod Chaudhary and all the ISER coordinators to achieve this very important milestone. Because this is one of the very unique aspects in the 17th edition of Mimamsa. Another dimension of Mimamsa is just a coincidence. I was just looking at it from the time of your schedules that just last month on February 28th, we had the National Science Day. And this year's theme was empowering youth for global leadership in science and innovation for Viksit Bharat. And I think Mimamsa is playing a very prominent role towards this goal by stimulating young minds. And again, one of my suggestions to the coordinators who are handling the social media handles, that I assume that you are tagging Department of Science and Technology as well. Your prelims happens in January, and we celebrate our Science Day on 28th of February, and we have our C.V. Raman, Professor C.V. Raman, Dr. C.V. Raman's photo over here is in his memory. We celebrate this Science Day, and I think the whole purpose of celebrating Science Day and the whole purpose of Science Mimamsa is in a way aligned in many more ways. I was also listening to one of the talk by our principal scientific advisor to the government, and he mentioned that 60 to 65% of the population falls in the working age group. And in another 5 years, the working age group in India will reach 1 billion. And many of you would be part of that working population. And I am still have another 10, 15 years of contributing towards that. And again, I think continuing to foster science and technology in India, and with the demographic advantage which we have, we can surely achieve our Prime Minister vision of achieving $5 trillion economy by 2047. I think when we say about becoming a Viksit Bharat, one of the most important aspects would be to another 20, 22 years, we achieve this growth sustainability. And what you saw in the video of Raj, as we are playing our own role, and how do we can achieve this developed economy in a more sustainable manner on every aspect of the economy. So I think I would like to conclude over here. I would like to end my talk by congratulating each of the 6,500 participants for actively participating in this competition. Best wishes to all the top 4 teams. May the best team win. And again, all the kudos and congratulations to all the hard work again done by the students for another extraordinary year of Mimamsa in Pune in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. We would like to call Professor Madhusudan to felicitate Dr. Gosalkar.
I think we need to felicitate our winners first. But anyways, thank you very much. Thank you.
Our guest of honor for the evening is Professor Sunil Mukhi, Professor Emeritus at IISER Pune and Adjunct Faculty at TIFR ICTS. Professor Mukhi is a distinguished theoretical physicist specializing in quantum field theory and string theory. Over the course of his career, he has made significant contributions to these fields. He has also been recognized with several prestigious fellowships and honors, including the S.S. Bhatnagar Award for Physical Sciences. We're privileged to have him with us today. I now invite Professor Mukhi to share a few words with us.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. So it's a real pleasure to be the guest of honor. I should say it's an honor to be the guest of honor. It would be an even bigger honor to be the guest of dishonor. It's a thing I much prefer, and by the end of this talk, you might start to think so. My association with Mimamsa is pretty old. I joined IISER in 2012, and I think right after joining in November, I think I participated in maybe some jury or something the following year and the year after that. And then I got very depressed because I actually didn't know the answer to any of the questions. I had to keep looking at the answer thing and then decide whether the answer is correct or incorrect. So for 10 years after that, I didn't agree to any invitation to come to Mimamsa, saying I'm very busy, but I wasn't busy, I was just embarrassed to show up to this gathering of super smart people. And finally, this year, when I was asked to come for this, I thought I'll say the same thing, but then I thought, okay, guest of honor doesn't have to prove that he knows anything. So it was much safer, and so I felt more comfortable. I have one more connection with Mimamsa, which is nice to remember, that about 5-6 years ago, I met with Dr. Pramod Chaudhary of Praj, the founder, and we talked to him about giving us support, and I'm really happy it materialized. So for those of you among students who don't know how this works, so we get some industrialists to come to our campus on some pretext, and then we go to them and we say, please give us your money. And then they say, why? This is the hard part. When they say why, then we have to really think of something that would make it interesting for them. And we scratched our heads, and finally we said, this Mimamsa thing is really, it's nationwide, it's famous, it's made ISER famous, the students are great, it's well known it's a household name throughout the academic world of in our country. And so he was convinced, and I'm really appreciative and thank all the Praj people sitting here in the front row for their very generous help. So now how much time do I have? 2 hours, 1 hour? 5 minutes? Okay, I'll try to make it 5 minutes. So I remembered, this name Mimamsa, I liked it the first time I heard it, and I already knew a little bit about what it is. It's an ancient philosophy from our subcontinent. And I even have a couple of books which discuss it, but I read them long ago. So I thought, let me now refresh my memory. And was there any talk explaining what Mimamsa means so far? Oh, good. Okay. Okay, so here is what it means. Reflection, consideration, profound thought, investigation, examination, discussion. Some scholars equate it with desire to think. It actually, Mimamsa, the word, seems to have the same root in Indo-European language as mental or mind. So that ma from Mimamsa, it comes from that mental concept. I think man also comes from that. And this is an ancient school of philosophy of our subcontinent. Quiz question, who is supposed to have written the first book on it? Oh, something finally I know, but only I found out from Wikipedia today, so not like I knew it before. Please go and look it up. Okay, let me tell you some more about it. Followers of Mimamsa welcome the demand for proof of an injunctive proposition, such as, X ritual leads one to heaven. They say it requires a proof. And they also suggest one may examine and try to prove alternate propositions such as ritual does not lead one to heaven, something else leads one to heaven, there is no heaven, and so on. Now look at it. This is from very ancient times. This is from 2 millennia back. And this is a kind of profound level of thinking which in our modern world we recognize as scientific way of thinking. Here's an amusing paradox which I made up. If you are a follower of Mimamsa, you cannot blindly believe the doctrine of Mimamsa, because the doctrine asks you to question things, and so you should not only ask if Mimamsa doctrine is correct, but also if it's incorrect and in what ways. But remember, this is just my advice from an old person, questioning is not the same as lazy thinking. There is something called lazy skepticism, where people just sit back and say, nah, I don't believe it. So there have been famous instances when some really fantastic scientific discovery came up and somebody in the audience or on social media said, nah, I don't believe it. You see, that is cheap. Anyone can say that. That's not skepticism. That's just being lazy. Skepticism means you have to question and you have to phrase the right questions. This is very important. In fact, the Mimamsa people themselves talk about the fact that until you question the belief system, you should keep believing it. It's a very interesting view. It could be controversial, but what they're saying is, don't just stop believing something. You believe it, raise your questions. If your questions aren't answered, then stop believing it. Your choice. Okay. So this brings me to a small, I'll just take 2 more minutes, a small comment on the study of ancient culture of our subcontinent, because Mimamsa comes from there. Just to answer, I believe the scholar who wrote this first book on it was called Jaimini, and this person lived somewhere, not exactly known, between 200 BC and about 0 BC, that period. Okay. Now, study of ancient culture is very important in my view. We learn a lot. It can be inspirational. Every culture which has done great in science, for example, has been inspired by its own ancient culture. And so I highly recommend it. But to have any value, the study of ancient culture needs to be serious and factual. It cannot be done to necessarily verify or necessarily disprove some pre-decided conclusion. That's not how study is done. When you start a study, you actually don't know what you're going to find, and you have to have your mind open to the possibility that you'll find things this way or that way. So this is very important. And if you go to the world outside, so as you know, over here in your Mimamsa, you have this concept of deep thought and brief thought. If you go to the world outside, they have also concepts called shallow thought and no thought. So there are a lot of there's a wide range of people, and you'll hear some people say, in our ancient culture, everything was known. You'll also see other people say, our ancient culture is completely irrelevant and uninteresting. Okay? And I think both sides are just being lazy. Anybody can make these comments, but you are academics. I'm addressing now to the students. You should not be lazy. If someone makes a claim, hear what they are saying, acknowledge it, and then gently ask them a question for more details. The important things always lie in details. Usually, a gently asked question will prompt people to think more. If you shout at them, it won't prompt them to think more. It will just increase polarization in society, and it's not something we really need. So now to conclude, I'd like to share with you a story which I haven't actually shared, I think, ever before in public, of my own immature behavior when I met with a senior executive of the Tata company, who was a council member of my, governing council member of my institute, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. I said something which I regret now because I was being immature, and there was something else which I should have said, which I realized later. You know, when you say something or you have an argument, you always realize later that you had a better argument. So in this meeting is a very senior person. I think he's no more now. We enter his office, and I'm introduced as a person who works on black holes. And he says, oh, black holes were known in the ancient scriptures. And I looked at him and I said, your mobile phone doesn't work because of ancient scriptures. It was a very blunt thing to say, and probably I made an enemy for life. And I don't recommend it, because I think he just concluded that here is an arrogant scientist who doesn't want to engage. What I should have said is, in these ancients, can you give me a reference to the place where black holes are discussed in ancient scriptures? And also let me know which coordinate system they discuss the black holes in. Is it Kruskal coordinates or Eddington-Finkelstein coordinates? This would have, I think it would have still been brash, but it would have given the person a sense that, you know, you cannot just say something is known unless you actually talk about it. Just the word, just the idea is not science. It's actually pre-science. It's actually even pre-philosophy. It's just an idea. Science is the idea taken to a conclusion where you actually work out details, where you actually make predictions. So I would recommend that you engage with the outside world, but engage with them politely in a rational spirit, and let's learn more about our ancient culture, what actually was right, what actually was not right, and let's be courageous enough to write about it, study it, and write about it. I find it very regrettable that to this day, most of the scholarship, actual serious scholarship on ancient Indian subcontinental science or philosophy, especially science, is written by people from outside India. It's great that they are doing it. I don't find enough people from India doing it, and I'm quite mystified by that. Okay, now I want to conclude with just a little comment again about the Mimamsa philosophy. It says, this is what I referred to, that if satisfactory verifiable proof for a proposition cannot be found by its proponents and its opponents, then the proposition needs to be accepted as a part of a belief system. Beliefs must be accepted to be true unless their opponents can prove the validity of their own texts or demonstrate that the scripture they challenge are false. I'm just paraphrasing what the Mimamsa philosophers said 2,000 years ago. It's very deep, and we should appreciate it. And I'll close with the last very nice example of how scientific thinking is done. Again, this is from Mimamsa. Imagine a traveler who has never visited some particular land which has a certain type of wildlife. This traveler is told by someone who has been there that in those lands you see an animal that sort of looks like a cow, grazes like a cow, but is different from a cow in such and such way. Okay? Now, the philosopher says, such use of analogy and comparison is considered a valid means of conditional knowledge. And I find this incredibly profound because conditional knowledge is really the thing that we all aspire to. Everything we learn in science is true at the time we learn it. It may remain true for some time. It may be superseded by better knowledge. But it's always arrived at by guidance, by comparing things. So here the idea is this animal, we don't know what it is, maybe a buffalo or something else. It's like looks like a cow a little bit, grazes like a cow, but it's different from a cow. You see the attention to detail. It's exactly the point where we tend to fail as a society, where the attention to detail is not there and some vague comments pass for knowledge. So I hope these thoughts inspire you a little bit to take our own knowledge system seriously, and I congratulate all the Mimamsa people for doing a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We would like to call Professor Madhusudan to felicitate Professor Mukhi.
I'm from here. I'm just here, come on. Thank you. Okay.
I think this is to say you should write that book.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I know I should, but I'm not an expert. I'm not young enough. So thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. To give us an overview of Mimamsa 2025 and the journey that led to it, I now invite our general coordinators, Urvija and Sahil, to the stage.
A very warm evening to one and all present here. Mimamsa 2025 has finally come to an end. And as one of the general coordinators, I cannot be more satisfied with what we have accomplished. We have heard a lot of times that Mimamsa is more than a science challenge or a competition. But why do we emphasize it time and again? The belief of Mimamsa is that questions in science do not demand correct answers. They require original thinking. The aim of Mimamsa is to test the participants on how they critically evaluate a question rather than focusing on just facts. Making questions is one of the most important parts of the Mimamsa journey and is also one of the most fun activities for the team. Months of consistent efforts by our question-making teams, led by these capable individuals, resulted in the many intriguing yet basic questions in our prelims and mains exams. They are supported by the rest of our extremely talented team, flawlessly handling publicity during prelims, hospitality during mains, and everything in between. The 2025 edition all started with the selection of GCs on the 21st of August 2024, followed soon by that of a core team. After a few weeks of orientations, campus coordinator selections, planning, documentation, and even more planning, we opened the registrations on the 11th of December 2024. The next few weeks were jam-packed with all of our publicity strategies, like various posts on social media, posters in college notice boards across the country, and on-spot registrations, endless emails, and even more reminders, and so on. Our efforts were fruitful as we got the record-breaking number of registrations by the time they closed on the 15th of January, 2025. We successfully conducted the prelims on the 19th of January 2025 in an online format with proctors from the ISA Pune student community. The results of prelims were announced on the 9th of February, and the 4 finalists who made it to the Mimamsa mains, as you would know, are IIT Delhi, IIT Bombay, IISc, and ISER Kolkata in no particular order. These teams demonstrated an excellent scientific prowess, coming on top of what has been the most competitive Mimamsa prelims so far. With the declaration of prelims results, the preparations for the mains began. This included revamping of team by adding more members. With all preparations done, we saw Mimamsa mains successfully be held from 20th to 23rd March. The finalists competed over 3 quizzing events: the deep thought, the refurbished brief thought, and the rapid fire, as you would have witnessed. Through these rounds, all 4 teams have demonstrated the scientific prowess, critical thinking, and impressing anyone who saw them compete. Mimamsa mains also oversaw active participation from school kids in the Inter-School Science Exhibition Competition, the ISEC. Through ISEC, we hope to promote the spirit of science and reach among the youth. The positive response in the past 3 years is a testament to our success in that regard. We also successfully organized the 3rd consecutive edition of SciCon, Mimamsa's very own science convention. It brings me great joy to say that this has been the 17th consecutively successful edition with a total prize pool of more than 350,000 rupees. As you can see, there has been a significant boost in our growth after being associated with Praj.
I'll be going through some of the numbers which we achieved this year. So for this edition of Mimamsa, I'm very happy to announce that we reached over 1,800 team registrations, which is the highest ever tally of registrations in Mimamsa history. And to add, this translates to over more than 6,800 participants across India. We also reached over 400 plus unique colleges. And it brings me great pleasure that 45% of the participants were actually females. Also amongst these, 33% of all teams were all-girls teams or had more than 2 female members. We also had a significant reach across social media where we reached over 1.5 million social media accounts on Instagram. These were the statistics just till the prelims, but in fact, on prelims day, we had the highest ever turnout in Mimamsa history, with over more than 1,000 teams actually appearing for the exam and more than 1,486 visits on the examination portal. This year, we have expanded the number of zones to 31. We have increased the number of zonal toppers, and this is in line with our philosophy to increase regional diversity and reach the grassroots of India, and to especially reach the Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges. We are very proud to have been able to try various new things this year. We have introduced a new brief thought format for the first time this year. We have streamlined the website and also created a new registration portal. This has made the registration process very efficient, and that is why we have been able to reach an all-time high tally of registrations. We have also partnered with a new examination portal, which has improved the participant experience. And I'm very happy to announce this, but for the first time, we have actually had more than 50% of the core team were females. And also, I think Mimamsa is all about continuity. Mimamsa is not just an experience of 4 days or a year, but Mimamsa stays along with you throughout. Mimamsa teaches you experiences, and that is why we have also created a Mimamsa LinkedIn alumni community to basically see and to talk and communicate with people and how basically understand how Mimamsa has played a role in their lives. To call Mimamsa 2025 a grand success would be an understatement. The standards are as high as they have ever been, and I feel fortunate to be a part of this. The fact that Mimamsa is entirely student run feels unreal, and considering the amount of work it requires, any of it would not be possible without an extremely competent team. And as my fellow GCs would agree, we have been blessed with a set of hardworking individuals who have put a lot of effort, who have worked every day, every single night, whether it is the registration portal, whether it is the publicity team, whether it is the question-making coordinators. All of us, the core team of Mimamsa 2025 has done a fabulous job. And with this, I would just like to thank everyone for making Mimamsa 2025 a great success. And I hope all of you will enjoy the remainder of the valediction. And once again, thank you to everyone.
Our chief guest for today is Mr. Ashish Gaikwad, the Managing Director Designate at Praj Industries. Mr. Gaikwad has vast experience across project engineering, strategy and business development, and general management. He has also served as a board member on various profit and non-profit organizations. His current engagements include work in energy transition, renewable chemicals and materials, industrial automation, and industrial AI. I invite Mr. Gaikwad to the stage to share a few words.
Good evening, everybody. This is my very first interaction with ICER. So when I was asked if I would come today evening to be a part of this function, I was torn between two things. The match that we are going to have, or which may have already started between the CSK and MI and Mimamsa. And you know what I chose, so I'm glad to be here. After a string of the speeches, and most of them from people from this particular field, I feel a little short in terms of what else to say to all of you, the students. But I'm glad to be here to just learn from various thoughts that have been shared today evening, and would also like to contribute to those thoughts, one from my side as well. Well, first of all, everybody must have heard about our ambition as a nation, that India wants to be a developed nation, right? You must have seen this in the media, heard it in the news, or you have come across politicians also talking about it. Well, it's a real ambition, and we all must have it. And the year that we have set ourselves to be a developed nation is 2047. Not a surprise, because it marks 100 years of our independence. And that's a good thing for all of us. That keeps a nice goal in front of us, and therefore, from all walks of life, from all fields, it gives all of us as professionals, as students, as people who can contribute in any which way that we can to make our nation a developed nation. But what does it mean to become a developed nation? If you look at it, from a classical definition perspective, when you look at the developed nations of today, there are about 200 countries, give or take, on the planet, as you know, and a few of them are developed nations. Many of them are really in the developing phases, or some of them are really underdeveloped. So what one needs to look at is the economic development of the country, and that's really the prime mover, I would say. When you talk about economic development, we are talking about the gross domestic product, GDP, how fast it is growing, what's the per capita GDP of the country, etc., etc. The second aspect of becoming a developed nation is truly about the technology leadership. The technical infrastructure, the technical developments that take place in that nation, all of those things matter. And the third thing that also makes a nation a developed one, which is most important in my personal opinion, is what is called as the Human Capital Index, which basically deals with the life expectancy, healthcare systems, education, the quality of life in general for all of us. And I think that's the most difficult lever, and that's what we need to make our journey towards. So if we do these three things, that is the economic development, the technology leadership, and then increasing multifold the human index, the human capital index, that's what would take us to our goal of becoming a developed nation. And this, if we have to do this in the next 22 odd years, because 2047 is not very far away, it's just a couple of decades or so away. And so if we just imagine how we are going to get there, it'll need a lot of development, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of modern stuff that we need to churn out in the 2 decades that we have. And that needs lots and lots of energy. And when I talk about energy, it's all kinds of energies. You talk about the fuel that we will need, you talk about the electricity that we will need, you talk about any kind of fuel that will power the economy of our nation. Good news is that on the GDP front, we have already set ourselves with a good momentum. So we today are already a 5th largest economy if you go by the nominal GDP as they call it. But if you go by another mathematical, so to say, calculation, which is fancily called as the purchasing power parity or PPP type of calculation, we are the 3rd largest in the whole world. And that's a good news. So of the 3 things that we talked about as a developed nation, the first one, we are along the way. The second one, which is the technology leadership and the overall technology infrastructure, I think we are doing pretty good strides there. When you look at our what is called as Indian IT stack, and we talk about that a lot nowadays because each and every Indian is taking advantage of it by using our phones to pay, even the smallest amount like a rupee or 2 using that infrastructure. And we are continuing to develop that using the Aadhaar system. We are developing much more on top of that infrastructure so that it connects our lives and makes the quality of life easier for everybody. And another nice thing about it is democratized, meaning it is not just accessible to a very few elite or rich people, but it's common across all strata, all economic layers in our society, and that's a very good thing to do. But we still have a lot of distance to cover when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, when it comes to the overall quality of life, and therefore increasing the per capita income and per capita GDP of the country. And that's where this energy is definitely going to be required. Praj, as you saw, hopefully you are paying attention that Praj is one of the pioneers, and I would say one of the thought leaders in this whole space of making India an independent country as far as its energy needs are concerned. Today, you might know that about 80+% of our energy has to be imported in terms of crude oil or the natural gas that we have to import from various countries. And I think that's not good, because if we get choked and somebody doesn't supply us that energy, our growth towards becoming a developed nation can get stagnated. So we need to be energy independent, and Praj is doing significant work in terms of utilizing what is available in the country and converting that into energy. For example, we are an agricultural nation. Almost 18 to 20% of our GDP comes from agricultural sector, which is a very large portion of our GDP. And when the farmers, they harvest their crop, and they have the agricultural waste which is lying there, you must have read in the newspapers that they burn it, and that creates pollution. Praj is trying to convert all of that biomass into what we call as 2G ethanol. And ethanol is a very good fuel. It's something that you can blend with different other fuels and therefore reduce the pollution and also make use of that to power our growth. And there are many things that we can talk about. Bioenergy as a subject, I'm not here to lecture you on that. But one point which I finally want to make is while we do all of these, I, on behalf of Praj Industries, will commit to partnering with ISER and therefore Mimamsa in the time to come. But we have to promise one thing as we engage even beyond today's Mimamsa. And this is the point that I wanted to make today. If you look at the fundamental development that we need to do as a country in basic sciences, I think there is a big gap between the current developed nations and we as the nation. Just to give you a glimpse of it, and you should really think about it in your day-to-day activities and also discuss this with your professors and your management. Today, when you look at the global scenario, we are the 6th largest country to file patents, which is one of the parameters that shows some of the fundamental research or things that we are inventing or innovating, and which is a good indication because that's how we can develop our prowess as a nation. If you look at the data, which is for last 1 or 2 years, we are clocking about 65,000 odd patents a year. You know, it's not bad. I think we are 6th already, which we used to be very, very low on the rankings, and we are now really progressing very well. So that's a good news. But when you compare that with the 5 nations which are ahead of us, there is a real big gap. So if you take the number 1 nation or country, it's China, not the US, by the way, just note it. China has put in 1.65 million patents in the last 1 year or so. Compared to India, that's 25 times more. Compared to US is 10 times more than India. Then comes Japan, then comes South Korea, then comes Germany, and the 6th position is for India, which is great. Again, I don't want to sound pessimist here, but we have a lot of catch up to do. And one of the things that you as the bright students that you are, and ISER, the premium institute that we have here in India, can really contribute to is how do you make it possible for India to become a developed nation by 2047. Now, I'm very certain that this will happen. There is a big momentum that we have gathered. There is a lot of positivity in the nation. I believe that the next couple of decades will belong to us as a country, and we all should definitely participate in this entire journey. And I'm also very confident that you as students and ISER as an organization will have a significant role to play in this journey ahead. So I know the best is yet to come, and I wish you all the very best as ISER and as all the students who made Mimamsa a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating words. We would like to call Professor Madhusudan again to felicitate Mr. Ashish Gaikwad. We request Professor Madhusudan to also felicitate the dignitaries from Praj present here. The Interschool Science Exhibition Competition, or ISEC, was a part of Mimamsa 2025 SciCon. Students from schools all over Pune took part in making models to demonstrate scientific phenomena. This year saw a record number of registrations. I would like to announce the winners of ISEC 2025. In third place, we have the team from school Mansukh Kothari National School, Khondwa, and the team members Arav Agarwal and Arham Gandhi. The top two teams are from all girls schools in Pune. In second place, we have the team from school Ahilya Devi High School for girls and the team members Revati Nande and Asta Gaikwad. In first place, we have the team from HHCP Hazurpanga Girls High School and the team members Suhani Chauhan and Gauri Shinde. Congratulations to all the winners. We would now like to felicitate the top all-girls team of Mimamsa prelims as well as the top performing campus coordinators who played a crucial role in the success of this year's event. I call upon Professor Mukhi to do the honors. The top performing all-girls team of Mimamsa Prelims 2025 from IIT Bombay, we have Sthiti Padhi, Nandi Priya, and K. Yashashwini.
I don't know how much you can carry, but okay. Well done. Very proud of you.
Mimamsa Prelims 2025 saw a record number of registrations, and we owe a part of this success to our hard-working campus coordinators. We have Sandeep Gupta from Delhi University, Anand Mutha from Deogiri College, and Dileshwar Padhan from AIMS Deogar, to whom we would like to give a token of appreciation. Professor Mukhi, please, yes. Sorry, sir. I'm so sorry, sir.
No, it's okay.
Thank you, Professor Mukhi, for being with us today and honoring the efforts of these outstanding participants and campus coordinators. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time for the results of Mimamsa 2025 to be revealed. I call upon our faculty coordinator, Professor M.S. Madhusudan, to announce the winning teams and Dr. Anand Ghosalkar to distribute the prizes to the winners.
He'll be here in a second. He's just hanging out.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to do the honors.
Oh.
Sorry.
So would you like a mic
Come.
to announce the winner?
Yeah. So you want to build up the...
I'll build up the hype.
Okay.
Make sure it's
So you guys all must be waiting.
Any guesses for the team in fourth place? Coming in fourth place, we have the team from IIT Delhi. I'm so sorry, sir.
Place you announce.
Do we have any guesses for the team in third place? In third place, we have the team from IISA Kolkata. And now, for the moment of truth. Only two teams left. Do we have any guesses for who will take home the grand prize?
Hey, ISC is my alma mater. So, respect. Thank you. So, it's my honor now to declare the winners of Mimamsa 2025. Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Which automatically means that the runners-up are IIT Bombay. Who's calling this call?
Please come up on stage, guys. IIT Bombay and then
IIT Bombay first. IIT Bombay first.
IIT Bombay first. ISC first. Sorry for the confusion. IIT Bombay, please. Huge round of applause. Congratulations to all the teams, and another huge round of applause for all the teams. And now, we would like to hand over our rolling trophy to our winners from IISc Bangalore. Coming from IIT Bombay. Thank you, Dr. Anand Gosalkar. Thank you. I request Professor Madhusudan to felicitate the core team from Mimamsa 2024. I would like to call them all on stage. Yes.
Where is he, by the way? He's not there. I saw him leave. Who's Narendra Kandekar?
Do you want me to announce?
When he comes in, just make special mention.
So I do not know who it is. So could you give me?
He's the guy. He's wearing a white shirt today. He's the guy who operates.
Call these names. Call these names.
Okay. Let's
Okay. The core team from 2024 has logistics Krishna Sapru and Shashank Goyal, technicals Sarthak Saini and Angad Singh, media Abhishek Kumar and Harsh Kopulwar, Psychon Rupsha Chatterjee and Yashashvi Subramanian, ISEC Sheen Roth, decoration Pranidhi Deshmukh and Rafia Sheikh, design Sonal Katar and Manas Anmol, hospitality Sahil Dholokia and Sushant Maske, food Priyansh Pawar and writing Abhyodaya Pandey. The general coordinators are Harshal Pandit, Dipansh Rajput, Mukul and Rudransh Agarwal.
I think just tell everybody to come up on stage.
Everybody, please come on stage. Guys, please come on stage. Aja, aja. The publicity, Shravan Rekhi, Shashank Goyal, and Rupsha Chatterjee. The design, Arya Dandagaval and Sonal. QMCs of physics, Derya Bandari and Rhythm Anand. Chemistry, Uppal Pramanik and Jagdish Parameshwaran. Maths, Jigyas Barua and Kumban Subhas Christopher. Biology, Kherde Ameya and Suhani Bhattacharya. ECS, Medha Murthy and Aditya Mogar.
Yeah, Narendra Kandekar. I don't see him. He's usually in there. Okay. Now who's the next? This year's. Okay. So before this year's team is thanked, I'd like to show appreciation for Mr. Narendra Kandekar and his team, who work the audio and video and take care of this entire auditorium. So, Narendra, please come out. Huh? Outside? Okay, just call him. We need to thank him. Okay. All right, we can go ahead with the rest.
As we bring this incredible journey to a close, we take a moment to reflect on the effort, dedication, and passion that have gone into making Mimamsa 2025 a success. To deliver the vote of thanks, I call upon our general coordinators, Rupsha and Madhav.
Hello. Okay. Very good evening, everybody. I'm Rupsha Chatterjee,
And I'm Madhav.
and we are going to be delivering the vote of thanks. We are the general coordinator of Mimamsa 2025. Before starting, I would like to apologize for the delay and multiple delays, and thank all of you for staying with us. Mimamsa 2025 has been a mammoth task to execute, and so is acknowledging everyone who has helped us out with that.
I'd like to start out by thanking Dr. Pramod Chaudhary, who is not here right now, but his help and Praj Industries' support has been invaluable in elevating Mimamsa to the heights it is at right now. I would also like to thank our director, Dr. Sunil S. Bhagwat, for his continued support and belief in Mimamsa's vision. We thank the members of the IISER Pune faculties and the PhDs who also agreed to be the judges for our various deep thoughts, brief thoughts, and other events in the ISEC and the SciCon competitions. Your contributions to the event are truly appreciated. I would also like to thank our registrar, Mr. Santhanam, who is not here right now, and Mr. Khandekar, of course, Mr. Naveen, Mr. Vitthal, Mr. Ramlal, and Ms. Arfana. I would also like to thank Mr. Abhale and the security staff for cooperating with us throughout the session.
As Aniket mentioned, no event of this scale is possible without guidance, and one could only wish for a faculty coordinator like Professor Madhusudan to guide us through the travails of making Mimamsa happen. We have found in him a mentor as well as a friend, and he's made sure to have our back in every situation. I cannot thank him enough for everything he's done for us.
We would also like to thank all the volunteers who have helped us throughout prelims and mains. And your support from decorating the halls in LHC to calling during the publicity rounds and from the quizzing question-making sessions has been so invaluable to us. I really thank you all for that.
Now, I would like to call the question-making coordinators of Mimamsa 2025 on stage. I would request them to come up on stage as I call their name. We will start with physics, Angad, Nishad, and Soumya. For chemistry, we have Aditya and Ishan. From maths, we have Malhar and Shantan. From ECS, we have Narayanan and Raj. And lastly, for Biomimamsa, we have Dhruv and Shomojyoti. I truly believe question making is one of the most important part of Mimamsa, and we couldn't have done it without these people.
Moving on to the departments of the core team, starting with technicals and web development, I would like to call upon Piyush, Jiggis, and Om Shah. From our publicity team, I call Sanidhya, Shomdatta, and Swasti for making Mimamsa's registrations at a count of all-time high. From our media team, I would like to call Nachiketa, Ninad, and Sharvari for helping us capture every moment of Mimamsa. And of course, our logistic heads, Aditya, Shivesh, and Dev, at the backbone of every event that has been happening since the start of our term. From the hospitality and food teams, we call Prisha, Utsav, and Sanidhya. From the decoration team, of course, we call Sojwal and Mriganki. Thank you for helping us decorate LHC.
The team behind Saikon and Isaac, I call Arshad, Sharonno, and Neeti.
Our design team, of course, Riya, Anaga, and Karuna. From designing banners, posters, thumbnails, to Instagram posts, and finally merch, they have helped us so much. Your help is invaluable.
And last but not the least, the person who helped us write the script also, our content writing unit, Govind. Finally, I call upon my co-general coordinators, Sahil and Urvaja, on stage. I would also like to call Mr. Khandekar for his. I would also like to thank Mr. Khandekar for his invaluable support.
To say that all of you have done a great job would be an understatement. And I cannot thank you enough for making this happen. I sincerely hope that the same passion you have for Mimamsa is carried forward to the years that come. I would like to call upon our faculty coordinator, Dr. M.S. Madhusudan, on the stage.
And a round of applause for everybody. But before I leave, I'd like to also thank all of you, the member of the audience, the member of Mimamsa. Your enthusiasm has brought life to this evening. Once again, this is Rupsha,
Madhav.
signing off as the general coordinators of Mimamsa 2025. Thank you all.